Okay, let's go on to AVI, right? Let's talk about them next. Remember, this is a brand portfolio which is core beverages, right? So that's hot and cold stuff. That's the old Five Roses business as well as the associated coffees. The biscuits, of course, are Bakers and associated brands. Savoury snacks, that's Willard's. And then they have an out-of-home range, which is stuff that gets delivered to businesses and so on. But, not only food, just for the record, they also own that cosmetics business, that's Coty. And then they have the 80 Spitz Carvala business, you know, the stores and the malls, which they got into some years ago. But I think the base of it is still foods. Oh, yes, and of course, there's the Irvin and Johnson fishing business. 28.6 billion rands worth of market cap, price to earnings ratio 20.38, dividend yield 3.77. So this one's solid.
Yeah.
Can't fault them.
No, you can't fault. And it is a little bit different from the other ones. They have got the food and complemented with the shoes and the makeup.
Which was a good place to be.
Was a good place to be. And they've done spectacularly well out of that in the past.
Yep.
You know, they've got all the fashion brands. They've got Gantz. They've got clothing. They've got a whole range of things.
Yep.
So it is more diversified than Tigers
Jimmy
or Pioneer.
Choos, Kurt Geiger.
Yeah, I must admit, I cannot understand how anyone pays more than 500 rand for a pair of shoes, but that's me. But spectacular growth a couple of years ago. It hasn't collapsed, but the growth rate has clearly slowed down. Now they are severely affected by a weak rand. Positive on I&J, but mainly negative because all the stuff that they import is imported in dollars or pounds or whatever, and they've got to try and get margin through on this side and try and sell it. But look, this is a solid company, been around forever, a very, very long time.
Because the old AVI, of course, Anglo-Vol, founded by the
Industries,
Hersov and Manel families, and basically built up its portfolio, bought T.W. Beckett's, and then bought bits and this, and stitched it all together.
And I mean, this is a really, really good company.
And speaking of really good companies, the fact of the matter is the brands and the way they've gone about the brands, you know, Simon Crutchley, the CEO, emphasizes this issue about the provenance. In other words, the biscuits. You can make a lemon cream biscuit, apparently.
But you can't make the same as this.
And you can take out the butter and you can, you know, use poor quality grain, but at the end of the day, people will tell. So you've got to stick to that quality.
And their brands are as powerful as what Tigers and the other food companies have got. So there's no problem there. They are affected by the weak rand. I&J is an incredibly variable business. I mean, they've had a tough time just recently because, you know, with fishing. That is really, it's actually not a good business.
It's not a good business anymore.
Actually not a good
it might
business.
have once been a good business, but the fishies are small and they're far away. You can't find them.
And they're affected by weather and what quota you get.
Yeah,
and
the quota thing's very politicized.
It's actually not a good business, but it's relatively small, so it doesn't really matter. I actually like the business a lot. I think they'll weather the storm of the weaker rand on their imports. I know they had to restructure the Coty business, and there was a bit of an abnormal profit that came through, and then they excluded the Coty from their trading up. There was some there to rechange. They changed the commercial deals.
That's also not a huge, particularly huge contributor to the net
This one is shoes, biscuits, and cool drinks.
And the tea bags and all of the associated, and Ellis Brown, the coffee creamer, and all of that sort of stuff. Share price chart. Let's have a look at that. Well,
no, it's
not as explosive as Pioneer, but it's probably done a little better and held up in 2015 better than Tiger has.
Certainly than Tigers. Look, they haven't got the Tiger problems. They definitely don't.
But on the other hand, of course, Tiger now has the opportunity to trade better, having put some of those problems behind them. This one is more of a steady Eddie type of operator. Hot or not?
I'll go hot on this one.
Good. Okay, excellent. So we're going hot on this one. I'll go hot on it too.